Stella and Marigold, Book 1, written by Annie Barrows, illustrated by Sophie Blackall. Story 1, The Beginning of Stella and Marigold. There was the whole world, and in it there was a city, and in that city there was a house, and in that house there were two half-houses, and in one of the half-houses, Stella and Marigold lived with their mother and father. They had the bottom half. Miss Ramonti and her friends lived in the top half. Stella was 7 and Marigold was 4. That meant that Stella has been on Earth for 3 years before Marigold got there. But Stella could remember only 4 things that happened in all those years. Seeing a real giraffe, the day she found out there were other people named Stella, hugging Grandma on a blue couch, and a time when her finger got pinched in the ironing board. Once Marigold got born, though, Stella could remember everything. She could even remember standing on the porch of the half-house with Grandma while her mom waddled to the car so she could go to the hospital and have Marigold. Bye, Peaches. Her mom turned and blew her a kiss. When I come back, I'll have a new baby and you'll be a big sister. This was hard to believe, but turned out to be true. When Stella's parents returned to the half-house the next day, her mom was holding a pile of blankets. This, Stella learned, was a baby. Next, her mother and father hugged and kissed Stella and told her how wonderful she was and how wonderful for her new sister was and how wonderful everything was about to be. Then they sat Stella on the couch and put the pile of blankets in her arms. Then they kissed her some more. Stella, who was a very kind person and usually very polite, finally had to say, "Please stop kissing me," she added. I need to tell my sister something." Her mother and father smiled and nodded happily. Stella opened her eyes very wide. "Oh," said her mother, "you want us to go away?" Stella nodded and they stepped away, but not far enough. Stella had to bend down very close to Marigold's tiny head. She had to lift Marigold's fuzzy soft hat, and then she whispered so that only Marigold could hear, "I'm Stella. I'm your sister. I'm going to tell you all the secret things I know. I would tell them to anyone else, but I'll tell them to you, forever and ever." Marigold had only been in the world for 35 hours, and she had only known Stella for one of them, but she knew right away Stella was saying something very important. She stared at Stella and decided she loved her. It's hard being a baby. Everyone knows more than you do, but from that moment on, Marigold knew one thing for sure: Stella. Stella kept her promise. Of course, Mom and Dad taught Marigold important things too. They loved her and took care of her, and Marigold loved them back. But it was Stella who told her secrets. It was Stella who explained the world to her.